What's up, world? You already know who it is. Maurice Paramore back with another episode of Your Favorite Directors podcast. I'm super excited today because I got a good brother here on the show. You know, an actor, hip hop artist. I'm really excited to have this brother on the show. So I want to welcome Omar Bullock to the show.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you for allowing me to come back to your place again, man. It's always a warm welcome when I come here. It's all love since first time we met. There's always good vibes. This is a good dude right here. He welcomed me with open arms to his home, to his family. It's been good ever since. We developed a good relationship.
Absolutely.
He's a director, producer, caterer. He did it all, man. And I really appreciate him as a director and as a person. He's a real good dude.
Thank you, man. I definitely appreciate that, man. So here on the show, we like to talk about, our experiences and just give game on the industry. As much as important as it is to work, it's important to tell our stories and give, honest feedback about, how we navigate in this industry, man. So speaking of the acting, let's get into it. I'm gonna probably go in and then I'm gonna come back to your story and all that good stuff. But so how does that work for you when it comes to a role? Like, what's your approach? How do you internalize, a character? Is it just memorizing lines for you? Like, what's your process?
No, it's not just memorizing. All right, so first, I read the script, I figure out what the hell is going on, and then I break it down. I break it down. I'm like, all right, okay, who is this character? Who is this character? All right, so, and I creating a backstory for the character. Where's the character come from? Then typical actor stuff. Where's the character come? I mean, I guess a lot of people, they may not do this, but if you don't do this, I would advise you to do this.
Okay.
Figure out the background of the character, whether it's in the story. Figure out what the story is of the character. Whatever missing pieces are, you connect to yourself. So where's my character from?
Okay.
What's my character's name? When was he born? Because all that plays a factor. On how the character speaks and how you bring that character to life. Figure out what the scene is about.
Okay.
Who's in the scene? What are your relationships within the scene? Because you got to know who you're talking to in the scene for it to make sense. You're not going to talk to your daughter the same way you talk to your mom, and you're not going to talk to your mom the same way you talk to your daughter, and vice versa. So know what the scene is about, and then also figure out what the words mean to you as well. So don't just say the words just to say them. Figure out, okay, you want to figure out the subtext.
Right. You
want to figure out, like, all right, what does that mean to me? All right, what am I really saying? What is this word really saying?
Why is he saying this?
Why is he saying this? And then you can kind of connect it with your back. So that's what I did. I kind of did with Regrets. I connected my backstory to some of the words that I was saying.
Okay.
And like any other role, it's like sometimes it's different. Sometimes I'll memorize the lines first.
Okay.
And then I'll do the work. But sometimes I'll, of course, read it first, and I'll break down the beats and my actions, or give myself options of how I want to say it, and what my intentions are for what I want to say. Figure out my objective. Okay, what is it that I want out of this person? Like, for example, Kia, what is it I want out of her? I want her to love me. I want her to take me back. So if you see me pleading, like, come on, Kia, please.
It's a lot of
and then it's a lot of layers to it, because I'm even though I want her to take me back, it's like I'm getting frustrated. I'm like, yo, Kia, please, all right. So I'm like going back and forth with that. There's layers in it. So high, low, I'm frustrated, I'm sad, I'm fed up, I feel like giving up. So so all those things intertwine.
What's up, world? You already know who it is. Your favorite director, Maurice Paramore, and I gotta tell you about my new film, Regrets. It's currently streaming on Peacock TV as well as Tubi TV, so I need y'all to go run up them streams. You can download it on your phone, you can download it on your tablet, you can watch it on your TV. So go check it out and tell me what y'all think, all right? Back to the episode. Sometimes I'll see an actor in multiple movies, and they're almost like playing the same character, or their approach is the same, their tone is the same. Is that do you feel like that's a lack of experience? Is that like somebody not really breaking down the role, really understanding what this character is, studying? To me, I'm big on craft. I'm big on studying the craft. I put in a lot of hours, me as a director, as a writer. You know, so it's like, do you feel that's a lack of that? Do you think people need to be taking more time, you know, developing their craft?
Yeah, I think people need to take more time within the script and not just memorizing the lines, because memorizing the lines, that's a given.
Right.
You got to memorize the line. That's a given. So not only memorize the line, but figure out what the hell is going on within that script. Figure out the overall story. Don't just read. I think in the beginning, I did that. Is I just read my parts.
Right.
As opposed to reading the whole story, figure out what the vibe of the story is first. So like with Regrets, I read the whole story. I'm like, I figured out what the heck what was going on in Kia's life, what was going on, you know, with everybody else in the story. So I'm like, all right, so I get the overall scope of the things instead of just getting my scope of it. You got to know what's going on, the whole thing. And I think, so going back to like what other actors do, I don't think people take the time out to really study the script and to really break it down. And it's all about the best actors that I like is specificity. Okay. They're specific in their characters. They're very strategic in what they do with their characters. So you're doing your homework. You're figuring out where your character is from. Your character might be from the South. You might have a Southern accent. Your character might have been abused when they were younger. They might have PTSD, so they might be like a little jumpy. Your character might have been living that street life, so they might talk a certain way. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they might be they might grew up with both parents who, you know, provided for them. And some characters, they might not have that parent, so they kind of like raise themselves. They raise themselves and they're doing their own thing. They're in the streets. They're selling drugs. They're doing all these things to provide for themselves. So I think that, just getting into the character. You got to be specific with each character. Every character is not going to be the same. Now, you can play the same role, but a different character. If that makes sense. So I know a lot of people, like, I don't want to play, like, I don't mind playing the gangster dude, but you want to add your own twist to it. You don't want to do the typical thug gangster. Like,
I'm gonna bring a difference
because every person has a story. Every drug dealer, every gangster boy is not the same. It's something different with them. So you have to be specific. So all right, what's specific about this? Am I gonna give my character a limp? Does he have a limp? Does he talk with a slur? Does he have like a certain way that he moves? Is he an insecure gangster? So just think about those things around the whole creating depth and just knowing the story, and trying different stuff, just being different. Right. Not just being different just to be different, but just bringing a different,
to it, man. You know, and it's a great point that you talked about with like movement. You know, what you're gonna dress, how you're gonna talk. Like they said, when they did The Godfather, the boy, they put something in the mouth, so he had that that little, you know what I mean, that little vibe. Brian De Palma, the director of Scarface and Carlito's Way, he was like, one of the things he really loved about Al Pacino, not just about the way he delivered lines and act and stuff like that. He said he had this movement about him. It was like poetry in motion. Like the way he ran. It was just like it was like poetic in a sense. And he was just like, I love the way he moved. And I think that's where a lot of actors go wrong. They think it's just about delivering lines. Sometimes you don't have to say anything. Sometimes it's all in your face. Sometimes all in your mannerisms. Sometimes it's the way you move. And that's like, I encourage actors to bring more of that to the table. You know what I mean? Just different layers to the character. You know, different
layers to the character. So just studying, like, figured out what the script is about, and just bringing life to the character, making it a full human being. Because we're not just one way like all the time. Right. It's like you have because a lot of times we wear a mask. And I don't mean that in like a bad way, because that's just our defense mechanism as humans. Like, depending on who we're around, like when I go back to relationships of like who you're speaking to, maybe I'm a little bit more reserved in like in a different setting, depending on what I'm talking. Maybe I'm more reserved. Maybe I'm just like for example, like if I'm in like a classroom, like I'm sitting back, I'm just chilling. I'm a little quiet, observing, because okay, maybe I'm not comfortable yet.
Yeah.
Next class, I'm talking to people. Okay, getting a little looser. Shoulders starting to stand up a little bit. Yay. Okay. Next class, I'm joking around like, yo, what's up, man? Like blah blah. Next class, I'm telling jokes. I'm loud. Yeah. I'm like, oh, I wasn't like that on the first class.
First week.
My first week.
Now you
so yeah, it's all about, we have an arc in our lives.
Yeah.
We have an arc in how we are within people we interact with. So we're not always the same. We don't start off the same way all the time. I mean, some people, you might get people who are always loud, like, yo, what's up? Like that's them. That's their story.
Right.
That's that's their character.
Right.
And you figure out how to, when you're studying a character, how did my character get that way? So yeah.
Let's talk about characters a little bit.
All right.
What is typecasting? Why do people get typecast? Do you think it's the physical aspect of it, like people can't see outside of this thing? Is it people who only present themselves in one way to a certain extent, or is it just bad casting on directors and casting directors?
Why do people get typecasted? I think they get typecast because they're good at what they do. And they're good at what they do. I mean, it's not always a bad, because some people they make a living off being typed. They don't. It's all about what you want. If you're comfortable with being typecast, if that's how you make your bread, go ahead. If you want to be thug number one in all the movies, if you want to be if you want to be Mexican gangster number two in all the movies, that's good for you, man. But that's not me. I don't want to be typecast. I don't want to be thug number one. I'm like, damn it. But I know sometimes, like a lot of the great actors, they start off doing those roles, and there's nothing wrong with that. You're coming up. You're
getting where you fit in.
You're getting your feet wet. You're getting it out the mud, as they say. So yeah, I think people typecast you because they see you in a certain way. But I think once you and that's kind of like you got to kind of be selective in the roles that you get. Okay, so take the typical roles that you want in the beginning. Get your foot in the door. Right. Build rapport, network, or whatever. And a lot of times with typecasting, how you not get typecasted is try to bring something different. Try to pick certain roles. And sometimes you can't really pick roles because you're auditioning. Right. But try to audition for certain roles that are different. And also you got to create your own content. Gotcha. Create your own content. Show them that you can do something else. In the process of you auditioning, work with people who you network with people and work with directors. Say, hey, yo, I got this script. I want to play this role. I want to do this because I'm tired of playing these certain roles or whatever. I want to play this role. And that's how you do that. You got to create your own content too if you don't want to be typecasted. Because when they see you in a different role, they want to work with you. Like, oh, I want to work with you. I see you working. Oh, I didn't know you. I didn't know you could pull that off. Okay, cool. So let me do that.
And that's something that I always encourage actors. Two things that I always encourage actors: audition for roles even if you don't think you fit. Right? Show people that you can do different things. Yeah. Also, what that does, even for me, when I see people audition, sometimes I create roles outside of that. Sometimes I just see somebody audition and I'm like, yo, it's something about this person. Yeah. You know what? And then later on, you might just bring an idea to life just based off of that. Yeah. So I always say, make sure you just auditioning, just to get yourself out there, try new roles. Like you said, don't focus on just doing this one role because it always fits. You know what I mean? But you just never know what type of relationship, what type of role.
Yeah, what type of relationship you're going to build. Because you just don't I would encourage people to do extra work too. Okay. If you can do some extra work, because for example, I did audition for a student film like a few years ago. I didn't get the part that I wanted. Okay. But the director hit me up and she was like, "Hey, we chose somebody else for the role, but we would love for you to come and be an extra." It was a teacher role. Okay. We would love for you to be the extra, play in the background. Okay. I'm like, cool. I'm with it. Okay. Like I just want to get the experience. I want to get the feet wet. I want to see how all of this works. Yep. So especially when you first starting out, you want to be immersed in the industry
the
as
culture.
much as possible.
Yep.
Like even if you playing a small part, because you never know who you might talk to. You might talk to like somebody who's connected. Be like, yo, man, you cool people. Like, if I got some work, I'm gonna hit you up. I'm gonna hit you up. And then next thing you know, somebody hit you like, yo, I got this role that I want you to do, or I got this another extra work. Okay, you get on another extra spot, and then it's somebody else that's there. Like, oh yeah, man, I know what's the name, so and so. I was like, you know, so and so. Okay, cool. They see that, and just build like good relationships. You know, be yourself. Don't be a jerk. Don't be an a-hole. Respect people.
Yeah.
You know, of course, set boundaries. Don't let nobody just walk over you.
Yeah.
But, you know, be respectful, you know, watch how you talk to people, and, you know, and I think you're good. It's all about, you know, networking. So that's, you know, if you want to, as far as like the typecast and stuff like that, you know, take those roles and just use it as an opportunity. It may not be like a huge leading role,
might
but
be exactly what you want.
Use that opportunity to talk to the director, talk to the PA, the production assistant, talk to the caterer, talk to as many people as you can, and just get your face out there, get your name out there, because they'll see, because first impressions are everything. They'll see like, yo, this dude's mad cool. Okay, and he got some chops. Okay, cool.
I like this vibe. You know what I mean? And I think that's such an important thing that's overlooked, or maybe it's not overlooked, but relationships is so important. You know what I mean? And people don't realize, and then they see it, and they're like, damn, why? He in all what's the name movies? You know what I'm saying? Why they keep working? Why Adam Sandler keep putting all the same people in his movies? Why Tyler Perry? It's because, you know, you build certain relationships, you build working relationships where, you know, it's a good vibe.
Because you know what you're gonna get on set.
You know what you're gonna get from this person.
You know what you're gonna get.
They know how you work. You know how they work, and it's just like you could really build off of that. You know what I'm saying? When you're trying to figure somebody out, and you know it's egos involved or this and that, it's like, yo, that can really like stunt, you know, your project to a certain extent. You know what I'm saying? So like you said, don't be an asshole, you know, help out when you can. Sometimes you ain't always gonna get the biggest role. You know, it's plenty of times where I just go hop on somebody's set and just be like, look, I'll hold a mic. I mean, I got my own productions, but sometimes you just gotta go and lend a helping hand and build and let
show
people
face,
know,
show your face
down, you know, for the culture. So speaking of, you know, actors and stuff like that, for one, you said create content, and I think that's a really good thing. I always encourage,
and link up with people who are creating content, who will create content for you.
And that's what I was gonna say, because I always encourage, you know, actors to write their own content, or produce their own content, or produce their own movies if you can, right? And if you're not a writer, get with somebody that can write.
That is a writer,
and along the lines of like being typecast, if you feel like, all right, you're only getting these roles, okay, let me get with a writer, or let me start writing something that's more something that I want to do. You know what I mean? Like, all right, I want to do, you know what I mean? I want to play the school teacher. All right, I'm not getting these roles. Let me create them. Let me show y'all how I can do this. You know what I mean? So definitely start writing. And if you're not writing, start producing, putting up your own bread, or getting some people that just want to shoot, and, you know, start creating your roles that you want to do, you know, on your own.
Yes.
On top of that, talking about typecasting and stuff like that, should you take every role that you're offered, that you're given? At what point do you say, you know what, I want to go in a different direction?
No, you shouldn't take every role. And the reason why is you're not going to connect to every role. You don't want to take a role that you're not connected to, that you don't like. Like, depending on how your moral standards are, what your code is, because everybody has a code, right? If it's not in conjunction with your code, then I wouldn't do it, because you're not going to be fully committed. You're not going to be fully committed to that part. So don't waste your time, and don't waste the project's time, because there's certain things in it. You might read something like, all right, because I read something, somebody wanted me to play this part, and all right, let me read it over first before I take it. So I'm reading. I'm like, nah, I don't see myself doing that. I can't do it. Like, no, man, they want you to. I'm like, nah, I can't do that.
Nah, you can do it. I'm telling you, gonna kill it. Just try.
Nah. It's like, I'm good. I'm not gonna do that. I can't see myself doing that. I feel uncomfortable doing it, and I don't want to do it. So I'm not even gonna take it.
Not even gonna entertain it.
So don't take just any role, especially if you're not comfortable with it. If you don't just take it because it's for whatever amount of money, or if it's if
lead role or
if it's
whatever.
a lead role, if it's not, if you don't feel like you can do it, like if you, like for example, like some people, they don't, maybe they're not comfortable with having sex on screen.
Gotcha.
Maybe they don't want to show, you know, maybe they don't want to show that, and they see this role, like, oh man, they paying me for this role. I really don't feel comfortable doing that, but the numbers.
Yeah.
Let me do it. So you do it, and then you do the scene. Not only are you uncomfortable, but you finish the scene, and later you just feel like,
yeah, I sold myself out.
Why'd I do that? It's like now you feel that in you, and it's like it could possibly ruin the scene. Maybe you weren't into it.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't take every role. Every role is not for everybody. You might have the chops. You might be a great actor, and you're like, I could play any role. But no, don't take every role. Every role is not for you.
So y'all hear that, man? Don't take
just like
every role.
Denzel was selective with his roles.
Yeah, you can tell he's very selective.
He's very selective in his role. He said, I believe he said along the lines, I'm paraphrasing, he said, you're defined by the roles that you don't take. So be selective.
That's a bar right there.
Be selective in what you take and how you move. Don't just take anything. Like
just to take.
Like you may take like certain things in the beginning just to get your feet wet, but even still, then you still want to have some type of dignity within yourself.
Okay.
And it's all based off. It's individually based. It's all how you feel. If you're not comfortable doing something, somebody else might be comfortable doing it, and they might rip it and kill it and be connected to it. But don't take everything.
I say, and I've just been learning that just with life in general. You have to be very intentional with your life and your career. You have to be very intentional with how the path that you want to take, how you want to be seen versus things that you don't want to do. The type of roles you want to have, the type of success. You just have to be very intentional. And the biggest thing, you got to know when to say no. And when you say no, you open up opportunities for different opportunities.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So that's one thing that I learned, and I think it's very important.
Yeah, and to be truthful and to be upfront with people.
Yeah.
Like if don't give the person a runaround. They're like, yo, I got this role for you. Don't lollygag and just keep thinking of like, if you know you don't want to do it, just tell it like, hey, yo, I don't feel comfortable doing this role. I think I'm gonna pass on this.
Yeah.
They'll respect you more. They're like, all right, cool. Like if you keep giving them a runaround and you take the role and you cancel the last minute, that's gonna mess up your whole relationship with that person. And be like, why you wait so long?
You could have been just said no.
You could have been just said no, and then they can probably hit you up for another. Like, yo, I got this. They keep hitting you up just to keep. Maybe they have a right role. Maybe they're waiting for the right role for you. And they can still hit you up. Maybe they find something like, yo, I got this role. You be like, oh, cool. As opposed to you lingering and saying, all right, and then canceling at the last minute. Then they're not even going to consider you anymore because you waited so long. Like, yo, why are you waiting so long? You're wasting my time.
You're wasting everybody's time.
Yeah.
So let's go back a little bit. Let's how did you get into acting? When was your first introduction into the industry?
I didn't get into acting. The acting got into me.
It found me. I
was just walking and I got punched. No.
But before you answer, were you always into film? I always ask. Like, was you going to the movie theaters when you were younger? Was it that magic that you saw on the big screen?
Yeah. I was when I was younger, my dad used to take me to the movies all the time. Sci-fi movies. Disney movies, Spider-Man, Power Rangers, Ninja Turtles, just growing up watching those type of movies. Jurassic Park, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. What else? Godzilla, the Godzilla movie that came out in '98. Because my dad is a movie guy. He still has tons of DVDs, and he used to have tons of DVDs like when I was younger, and he would have a surround sound system in the living room, so he would play a joint like mad loud, neighbors complaining, grandma complaining, turn that down, just subwoofer, and just like all these different movies. So I was always into watching movies and just being a part of that experience. So I always loved movies. I just didn't. I don't think it didn't hit me until like later, but I think it was always in me because I was always. I always like to make noises, and I always like to crack jokes.
Okay.
always, you know, like when I was in grade school, this is like around when the Kings of Comedy was out, like in like 2000, when I think I was like 8th grade, 7th, 8th grade. And I would do like the Bernie Mac impression.
Nice.
I'll do a Bernie Mac impression when I was younger. Don't ask me to do it because I can't do it now. It's been I can't do it now. I would do the Bernie Mac impression and I would do it at school.
Okay.
And they would just, everybody would just crack up because Kings of Comedy was just like
that
deal. So I was good at imitating, but I was a shy kid. I was still shy.
Okay.
So it was like I would do it for like a few people. I'd be like, I'll do the Bernie Mac impression. I forgot the joke. It was he was like he was teasing me. I don't know if you remember that. I don't know if you remember that joke. But yeah, I used to do that all the time.
I gotta go back and watch that.
Yeah, you gotta watch that. Rest in peace to Bernie Mac.
Yes.
Yeah, great guy, great comedian. But I used to do that, and they'd be like, yo, they used to crack up, and they used to call, yo, come over, yo, he did the Bernie Mac impression, yo, do the Bernie Mac impression. I'd be like, oh, why did I do that?
Now you perform it.
So now I gotta do it. I do the impression, they laugh. So they called it, now they call the 8th graders up. Yo, come on, yo, he did the Bernie Mac impression. Oh gosh. Now the 8th graders calling teachers up. Yo, Mr. Banks, come over. I'm like, no, please stop calling people over. So it's like, I still had that, I still was shy, but I still would like joke around. I'd be like the funny guy on the low, but I didn't want everybody to hear me. So I was always like lightweight entertaining people in a sense.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's dope, man. Did it, was it a moment that it was like, you know what? I want to do this, like really do this. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I think, obviously, cameras and stuff like that became more accessible and stuff like that. People were doing more, productions for the longest. It was hard to get into this industry. You know what I'm saying? You had to go through the gatekeepers. You had to have somebody that had equipment and all that stuff. But, now we can kind of, do more stuff. But yeah, was it a moment that was like, all right, I really want to do this?
Yeah. So
did you see something in yourself?
Yeah. So I even stick to when I was younger. All right. So Bernie Mac impression thing happened. I used to, tell jokes at school. People thought I was funny, but I was still shy or whatever. Still haven't really came out of my shell.
Okay.
My best friend who I've lived across the street for like 20 years. He's been my best friend since we was like, so longer than that. I think, he's been my best friend since I was like 4.
Wow.
4, and we're still good. And he's kind of like the person that introduced me to like the whole art thing as far as like music and acting and stuff, because he was like the first like person I knew that had like a camera, like a video camera. Yeah. And when we were younger, we would make our own like he was the first, like him and his brothers' friends, they recorded like this. They made like a little short movie. And after that, because it was his camera, he had a camera. So after that, we were hanging out, and that's when we was playing with like toys, playing with like wrestling toys and like Spider-Man and all of that. Gotcha. We made this little movie with the toys. So you know how like you move the toys, we did a movie like that. Yeah. He recorded, he edited it, chopped it up. So that was like the first time, but it wasn't like really like I wanted to do this legit. Right. But that was just something that, we were exploring. And then, years later, he got into music, him and his brother got him rapping, he was rapping. He tried to get me to rap. I was like, no, I don't want to rap. End up getting me to, freestyle and stuff like that. Okay. And then I think not till like college. When we got into college, we did a lot of improv. Okay. Like me and him and another friend of mine who was in Harrisburg, who I met at the school that he went to, because they went to a graphic design and photography school. So like he was always in the arts, like artsy, drawing and stuff like that. So we would like improv a lot. We created our like this fake radio show, which I think we like maybe 50 episodes in. Nice. We just do it on a humbug. We just do like all these different characters. Okay. I'll play like 5 characters. They'll play like 3 characters, and we just bounce back and forth. So I've been doing that for like a long time, but it's still like the idea of acting still didn't hit, but it was like, it was there. It's like I'm playing all these different characters. So then maybe like a year or two later, a few years later, like we would try to act, like we would just like perform our own little scenes or whatever. And it's like, I was like the only one that kept laughing. I was like, I can't stop laughing.
Right.
We would do it. So I was like, it was just,
very tape.
it was just so weird.
Right.
They was like all serious and they could stay in character. I'm like, damn, I can't do it. So then maybe like, you know, maybe another year, we did another scene together.
Right.
And I was just dead focused.
You was locked in.
I was locked in. I wasn't laughing. We was improvising. We did some monologues like off the top of the dome. Like we would play like music in the background, soundtracks, and we just do like these monologues from off the top of the dome, just freestyling it, and like we was just killing it. It was fun. And I think what hit me, damn it, when did it exactly hit me? I think maybe after that it just started like brewing in me. So I started growing like, all right,
little bugs
I kind of want to be an actor. So I'm going through college and I was like, I had this idea of what I want to do as far as my career, but it's like this acting thing is in me. And it's like, I reached a moment where I wasn't reaching like a productive, because I was working at the airport. Okay. I was doing sales and I wasn't really hitting the way I wanted to. I'm like seeing everybody around me working with me and I'm like, yo, man, I was like, I'm not good at this. Like, I don't know what I'm good at. And it's like, you know, I kind of like broke down to try to figure out what the hell I wanted to do. And then my wife at the time, with my girlfriend at the time, she was like, what do you want to do? Like, what do you really want to do? I was like, I want to be an actor. And I was like, I want to be an actor. She's like, all right, then do that.
Now, was you worried about how she was going to respond to it? Like when you were
a little bit when I said that. A little bit. I was like, because like I kind of hesitated. I was like, I want to be an actor. And I said that. So like after that, I went to school because I was trying to be a personal trainer because that was my, I really wanted to be a physical therapist. That was my goal. Yeah. So I went through college trying to do that, taking courses, and then I ended up going to Westchester for like maybe 2 semesters. Maybe 3. I can't remember how long I went, but I dropped out eventually. But I went there to be a physical therapist, to take classes for that. But I took an acting class. So that this is because it's something I wanted to do. Right. So I had to seek out the theater department chairman, whatever. I'm like, hey, I'm not an actor, but I want to be in the acting class. So they let me in. I took the acting class, Theater 101. Okay. I was like, yo, this is where I need to be. Out of all the classes, this is the most comfortable I feel. This is the most at home that I feel. I feel free in this class. Right. So I was like, this is what I want to do. After that, it just became. I really didn't pursue it until I started training at this gym as a personal trainer, and I think that's when it really hit.
So, is there any directors in the industry that you would like to work with? Or any actors that you love, that you kind of like study?
Yeah. Well, Denzel, that's a given. Just how long he's been in the game, right, and just his impact. You know, he's pretty much the standard as far as being an actor. Yeah. You know, but I also have others. Lenny James. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He played Morgan on The Walking Dead. If you watch that, black guy. He's British.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
He's like,
gotcha.
I think he's my favorite actor right now. Nice. He's like my favorite actor. He's just so dynamic and layered, and you can't keep your eyes off of him when he's on screen. And he's just memorable in everything that he does, and he just brings such a realness and intensity to his work. He has a show out called Save Me Too, where his daughter is kidnapped. Okay. But he hasn't seen his daughter since she was 3. But somebody pretended to be him to kidnap her. Okay. And they end up pulling him in for interrogation because they think he took her. Ah. But he doesn't know she's kidnapped until they show him. So he's like, "What's this? Like, what's wrong with Jody?" Right. So when he finds out she's kidnapped, he just he goes from 0 to 100 real quick. And it's but it's so real, and it's does this nigga really did he really experience this? Is he really like he's like you think he's really experiencing that at that moment? So him, Lenny James, who else? I said Denzel. I'm trying to think. I would like to work. I would love to work with Mahershala Ali.
Okay.
I would love to work with him. Directors, I would love to work with Spike Lee.
Of course.
Spike Lee, Quentin Tarantino.
Nice.
What's his name? I can't believe I don't know his name. Fruitvale Station.
Oh, Ryan
Coogler.
Yeah.
Yes, I would love to work with him.
He's a beast.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the state of the industry right now? You know, some people say it's the golden era for TV. Just how do you feel about, you know, the industry, the independent market versus, you know, mainstream? Do you think it's in a good place? Do you want to see some things changed?
I think right now, I think it's at a good space, especially for people of color and minorities. You're seeing a lot more of us on screen. You're like, oh snap! This is we got some of us in here.
It's like okay,
we really changing. But then on the other hand, I think I look at like certain, like I like quality.
Okay.
I like quality stuff. Don't just give me something just because it's black, or don't just give me something because it's whatever, or don't give me something because it's just white or whatever.
Yeah.
But I want quality. Don't just say, all right, here you go.
Yeah.
I don't like stuff that's just put out there.
Speaking of quality, and we had talked about like you know, equipment, more opportunities, you know, things being more accessible. Do you feel like the industry has become oversaturated as far as just like people just, because there's a lot of junk out there.
Yeah.
It's a lot of quality stuff out there.
Yeah.
But do you feel like, and I look at it as like, you know, a true director versus somebody just running around here with a camera, right? And, you know, how do you feel like it's too much junk out there? Or that's just a part of the game? Versus really quality stuff, right? Because, you know, you'll tap into a lot of stuff, you know, whether it's YouTube stuff, whatever. I mean, even stuff on like Tubi now, it's like some quality stuff, and then some stuff is just like, all right, are we gonna put more work? You know what I mean? Are we gonna put better quality work together?
Yeah.
I feel like this, you know, the industry is very saturated, you know, because everybody, it's more access, right? Before, like I said, you had to have a lot of money to have equipment, or you had to go through the gatekeepers and all this stuff. So it's a gift and a curse, because now it's more opportunities. Obviously, it's the greatest time to be a filmmaker and actor because you have the opportunities. But then that also puts a lot more people in a space, you know what I mean? A lot more work out there. But do you want to see more quality work, or you just like, you know, it is what it is?
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, but I do want to see more quality work. I love good quality work, and then that doesn't even go to the idea of like the way the camera looks or the cinematography. I'm not even talking about that. I'm just talking about the story. I'm talking about the acting. Talking about the edits. I don't want to watch a film. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I don't want to watch a film and be like that. Like, what was that?
Yeah, like you lost me.
I don't want to do that, but I want to feel the experience. I want to feel like the people who created the project, that they cared about it, that they took the time, as opposed to, all right, I'm gonna just put this out.
And I think that's the key thing that you hit, where one of the worst things is like leaving a theater knowing that the people involved didn't get it all. They just slapped something together and they were just like, here you go. You know what I mean? You can tell when somebody put their foot in it. And that's me. Like, I want to leave where it's like, all right, I know I put my foot in it. I mean, it's all subjective at the end of the day, right?
True.
But a certain kind of thing, a certain kind of quality is just like, you can't deny, where it's just like, you know what? The story, I wasn't crazy about the story, but damn, They put that thing together.
Yeah.
Well, that sequence was crazy. Well, that acting was dynamite.
Yeah.
The editing was nuts. Yo, the music score was like, give me something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I mean, and it could work for them, because I know a lot of times like as artists, we try to hold on to like what we have. We don't want to put it out yet.
Yeah.
Until it's like perfect.
Yeah.
It gotta be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't gonna be perfect all the time.
It's never gonna be perfect.
Because sometimes you just gotta take that leap, and I that's what I do admire about this new era, and how people are able to put stuff out there instead of just waiting.
Yeah.
It's like a twofold thing. It's like
exactly.
It's like wait to like make sure everything is crisp, but also don't wait too long.
Nah.
Don't sit on it. So it's like you gotta kind of like find like a balance, and it's hard. It's tough. You gotta kind of like find a balance.
Yep.
And a lot of people just, you want to put the stuff, you don't want to put your stuff out there because it's like, it's not ready. It ain't ready yet. Or I ain't ready to take this step because I'm not ready yet.
Yeah. And you know what I learned from Kevin Smith, a filmmaker from Jersey, did Clerks and all that stuff, Mallrats and stuff like that. And he said he's not afraid to take his baby and break it all down, bite the head off, all kinds of crazy stuff, in the sense that, a lot of times artists feel like, even like a screenwriter, right? You'll have a scene and you're like, you know what? That scene ain't work. Cut it out. And somebody might be like, no, but if you take that out, it messes up the whole story. It's like that scene has to stay in there. And I learned to, like I said, I'm a producer, but I always look at myself as a reducer. I'll take something out in a heartbeat. You know what I'm saying? And I had to do that even with Regrets. The original runtime for Regrets was 2 hours and 5 minutes.
Yeah. I
got it down to 140. One, it was just too long. And me, it's like, if it don't work, I get rid of it. Mm-hmm. I'm not that connected. I'm connected to my work, but not to the point where it's like I can't take things out when it's not working. You know what I'm saying? I don't need it to be perfect. I need it to be right. I put it out and I move on.
Need to make sense.
It gotta make sense. But that's one thing what I always loved about Denzel, right? They always ask Denzel, well, what is your favorite movie that you have ever done? And he always says, it's my next one. Because he's always focused on more work. I put it out, I let it go, and then I don't own it no more. I'm done with it. You know what I'm saying? That's true. You can't hold on to too much. And I think when you hold on to stuff, like sometimes people be like, all right, and it happens all the time. You might put out a film this year, right? Or let's say 2019, right? And then 21, you put out something and it's dynamite, and you see the growth and it's dynamite. And let's say it never came out in 2019, and now it's like, you know what? All right, the filmmaker's like, yo, I'm ready to put this out now, and you like, oh man, it ain't my best work, or whatever the case may be. Now it's not your best work, but if you would have put that work out at 2019 and then put out your better work at 2021, people will see the growth. And I think when you don't put yourself out there, and when you hold on because you're trying to make sure it's perfect, you don't allow the audience to see your growth.
Oh, that's true. That's good.
You know
that's good.
I mean?
Yeah.
And your own growth. You know what I mean? It's like I cringe at some of my old stuff, but it's part of the process. It's part of the growth.
Me too.
You know what I'm saying?
I look at certain things. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
Like even now, like even from like Regrets, I knew I progressed from
Things
there.
you could have done better. Even me. Even with Regrets, it's like, y'all like that? Okay, it's cool.
You know, I don't like looking at myself sometimes. Because when we were in the theater, when we were in the premiere, I cringed so bad. I'm like, yo.
Every time you came up.
I turned my way. I'm like, Tammy, tell me when it's over.
Yeah.
But it's like, and you like see certain things that you can do, and it's like, all right, it happened. So That's
good. You're a critic for yourself.
Yeah.
You want the best for yourself.
And then I have people around me who tell me like, all right, that wasn't good. I feel like you could have did better than that. So you also have to have people around you like, all right, I didn't like when you did that. I felt like you're stronger now, but I feel like,
that could have been better.
That could have been, I felt that could have been better. I'm like, all right, cool. And I take it. And so I'm not taking it personal, because I'm asking the person. I'm like,
constructive criticism.
All right, so stop beating around the bush.
Tell me.
What you think?
You gotta have those few honest people that that's gonna give it to you raw. One of my friends, Rick, that been my college roommate and all that for 5 years. He don't care how much he loved me, he gonna give it to me raw. Yeah. And I love it. So when I need an honest opinion, when I want somebody to take it, break it down, chew it up, and throw it at me, I don't really like that one. I wasn't really feeling that part. This is why, and it gives you, and I think that's important because it's easy for somebody to be like, yo, that's fire, that's fire. People send up fire emojis and everything. All this goofy stuff.
Sometimes be like,
like I know that wasn't crazy. I know that wasn't my best work, but I'm cool. I'm cool with whatever people say to me because, again, like Denzel, I'm on to the next one. I want to put it out there. I want y'all to take it, like it, love it, hate it, shred it up. Cause I'm on to the next one.
On to the next one.
I just want to grow. I want to grow through what I'm going through.
Grow through what you're going through.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't get too crazy about that. But
yeah, and to go back to film versus theater, because the film lasts forever. That's the only thing. If you on a stage, you do something that you ain't like. Ain't nobody gonna. You might get like a review, but it's like. Ain't nobody see it.
It's not the archives anymore.
That's the only thing. It's like once it's out there, and then then the difference between film and theater. Film, like I said, it's more intimate. Mm-hmm. It's more subtle. You're not doing a lot with it. Yeah. You're using the edits to drive the story.
Yeah.
Music, all of that. With theater,
I mean, you have music in theater too.
You do. With theater. There's no stops. There's no cuts. There's no edits.
That's something you gotta keep going.
It's like a marathon. You're running. You gotta keep your endurance up. Mm-hmm. You gotta know what place you're supposed to be. You gotta know your blocking. Mm-hmm. You gotta be connected with your character. If you mess up a line, you gotta keep going. There's an audience right there, and I think theater. The thing I like about theater is it stretches your acting muscle like even more. I
was about to say, does that make you a sharper actor?
It does, because you have to listen. You really have to listen.
Because the first thing people always say is like, oh, this guy or this girl came from theater background. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They're more sharper and stuff like that. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, because you have that endurance. Okay. You have to listen. You have to really listen to your scene partner. Because if you miss a line and they say it in like a certain way and you like, oh, you gotta be on that. Mm-hmm. You gotta be like right on them. You gotta know your character, and you get to learn the script from top. You do it like you're doing it multiple nights. Yeah. So you're constantly growing. Like each show, you're getting better. Mm-hmm. The first show is not going to be the best one. The best show. The last one. The last few shows, that's when it's like really starts kicking. You're getting it because you're comfortable with each other. You're more comfortable with each other. You're comfortable with your movement. You're more comfortable with your character. So you that's what I like about theater. You're in the character. Constantly. You stay in the character. You don't get out of it. You don't get out of character. You're constantly learning new stuff about the character. Yeah. You're constantly saying these lines. You're saying them, and you're growing with the character. Yeah. So that's another thing you learn from theater to carry it over to film to your character. Spend time with the script, spend time with your character, know your character. Nice. Just to spend time in it so that you can make the character as real as possible.
That's super dope, man. Well, before we get, towards the end, man, I just wanted to say, I think you have, a super bright future.
Appreciate you, man.
I want you to really lock in, man. Like I told you, it was so crazy, man, when I love telling the story because I remember you had auditioned for me like a few years back.
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
And I always had the footage. And I was like, this guy is good. And some years went past. I'm not even sure what project that was for. It might have been Regrets. It might have not.
I think it was actually for Recession.
It might have been Recession, yeah. Right. So I was like, okay. This dude is nice, and I always came back to it. So when it came back to doing the feature film for Regrets, and I had to replace the actor playing the dad, yeah, I'm like, I need somebody that can pull this role off. And I came across your audition, and I'm like, holy crap! I showed my girl, and I'm like, I think this guy could play Miles, the dad. And it was just like, I don't know, it was just like this rawness, this honesty about your acting. And that's when I hit you up, and you was like, let me see the script, boom, boom, boom. And you ended up signing on. But the very first time we shot the first day. We did the improv scene, I think, with La Vita,
yeah.
And then we did one of the boxing scenes And I was like, holy crap. You was only in it was about 4 scenes.
No, actually the Vita scene didn't come till after.
That was after?
That was after. That wasn't
the first day?
Nah, the first day was, I think it was at the gym.
It was at the gym.
Yeah, it was at the gym.
With you and Kia.
With me and Kia, yeah.
So I remember doing that, and it was only about 4 or 5 scenes, because it was really all the scenes that was in the short film that was gonna, move over to the feature film. Because I rewrote the script and I changed some things, and I was just like, all right, we just gonna pretty much do it what it is. But when you had performed and I worked with you, I'm like, yo, I gotta write this guy in more. I gotta bring him back into the story, because the original story was really about Miles. So the story that we see now is the original story. I had scaled it back, and I focused more on the foster, aspect of it. But your acting really brought out the story, and it had me rewrite the things that it helped me tell the story, the original story that I wanted to tell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I just wanted to commend you on that, man. And
man, I appreciate you, man. I was trying to go in as much as possible on this damn character.
Yeah.
And then to go back to the Vita scene, the improv, because you hit me up. I was like, "What are we doing for this scene?" You was like, "Improv." I'm like, "Improv." I'm like, "Damn, what the hell are we gonna do?"
I had
like,
no idea.
I'm like, "I don't know where this is gonna go."
Yeah.
Then I got here, and you was like, "Yeah, the girl, she's on the way." And I was like, "What's her name?" And I saw what her name was. I was like, "Oh, Levita." Mm-hmm. I was like, I know her. We literally just worked together. I've known her for a little bit. So we had already been in I was in her film, so we had already got the chemistry. So she came in, I saw, I'm like, "Yo, what's up?" It was all love. And then when we got to the set, to the place, we were just like, you were just like, "Yeah, just come up with something." I'm like, "All right." So me and Levita, we was like, "All right." So I was like, "How we gonna do this?" Yeah. So
no direction, nothing. Just
no direction. We was like, "How the hell we gonna do this?"
Y'all just gonna break up. The only thing I had for them was like, "Listen, y'all gonna argue, y'all gonna break up. Y'all figure out what y'all want to do."
Yeah, you just figure out what y'all want to do. So me and Levita was like, "All right, so how we gonna do this?" I said, "All right, so what I'm gonna do is you gonna come out or whatever, and then we gonna start arguing, whatever we gonna argue about." So then while we doing that, I had turned my back, and Levita, she had pushed me, like unscripted, it's off the top. She pushed me on the back, and I kind of like stumbled on, and I turned around. I was like, "Don't you ever put your hands on me!" And she cowered like that. I was like, "Yo, let's do that." So after she did that, I was like, "Yo, let's." I was like, "Let's do that." So we added that, and we just started adding like certain things, and Maurice filmed it, and it was like, yeah, man, I felt loose in that. It was like, and that's one of the that was one of the scenes. One of my people that like, "Yo, that was the like out of the all the scenes, that was the loosest you were in there." Yeah,
that was one of the best scenes, man. Definitely incorporate that with your reel.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was authentic. It was free, and y'all could tell that y'all really blended. You know what I mean? Well with each other. And it was that was something I asked Jabria about, scene partners and stuff like that. How do you feel that plays into what you bring out as an actor? Do you think it's important to have your scene partner bring it, or do you just say, "Listen, I'm going to do what I got to do regardless"? But does it help? Does it help you bring out more?
Yeah, definitely. Especially depending on who the scene partner is and like what their level is and what their energy is. Yeah. But regardless, you have to, like, even if you feel like they're not bringing the energy that you want, you still got to somehow pull it off. You still got to pull it off. But it definitely does help your scene partner. Yeah. Giving you like certain energy. Mm-hmm. So it definitely helps.
Super dope, man.
Yeah. Especially when you know them and you're cool. Yeah. It's like, all right, let's go. We done this before. Let's rock out.
Back. Yeah.
This child's play. Let's do it. Like we know what we doing.
That's what
so it's like, and I think that's a lot of people you'll see, like even like Denzel, like Morgan Freeman, all of them, they've worked on stage before. They've known it. So if you see like certain people in the same films or whatever, it's because they worked before.
They got that chemistry.
And they're comfortable. Yeah. They're comfortable with each other.
Chemistry is important. Yeah. Man. That's so important. So what's next for Omar? Where do you see yourself in the next, few years? How do you plan to attack this year, and what's some goals for you?
My goal is to sign with an agent, to get my reel, my headshot out there, signed to an agent and started getting like this real work. Not real work, because obviously Regrets is real work. But what I mean is getting myself out to the next level, to like, you know, Hollywood and stuff like that, is to get an agent, start booking roles with that, commercials. My goal is I want to get on an episodic show on Netflix, Hulu, whatever. I want to get on episodic, and I want to start doing this acting thing full time, being able to pay my bills with it. To get out there, to start auditioning for in Atlanta, New York, all those places. You know, right now I'm in a play, which is called The Skeleton Crew by Dominique Maruso. It's a story about 4 factory workers working in the midst of a stamping plant, auto stamping plant in Detroit. You know, real beautiful play, beautiful dialogue, beautiful characters. We are doing that in Philadelphia, Chestnut Hill, Philadelphia, PA, and it's running from February 4th through the 20th. So I'm really excited about that because we postponed it 2019, and now we're back doing it again.
Nice.
So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to be on stage, and I'm looking forward to, you know, moving forward to a new level.
Nice, man. Can't wait to see you do more work, man. Tell the people where can they find you. How can they get connected with and agents? I'm telling you, somebody sign this brother. You will not be disappointed.
Pick me.
Yes. So where should people find you?
You can find me. I'm on Instagram. My Instagram handle, I just changed it, so you can. It's my full name. It's Omar, OMAR _ Bullock, BULLOCK. That's my Instagram, and I'm also on Facebook, which is my name, Omar Bullock, OMARBULLOCK. So I can catch me on there. I post stuff, my films. I post, you know, videos of my films, trailers and stuff like that. So check me out.
Yeah, you already know, man. Follow this brother. You know, got a lot of good stuff in store. You know, Regrets, the lead character, is it's on Tubi right now, so go out there. It's free. Go show some love. You ain't got to pull out no credit cards. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to do nothing. You ain't got to dance or nothing.
To be or not to be?
Go watch that.
That is the question.
Share it, show love, run the numbers up, man. It's free, like I said, to watch. So download it on your phone, your tablet, your TV, all of that good stuff, man. And if you haven't, go click the subscribe button, because we need to get them subscribers up. And if you like the content, you know what it is when you hit that subscribe.
Click that ring bell, that notification.
Share the notifications so we get the notifications when we got this new episode out. You know what I mean? And please follow my brother. Show some love, support, and we will see y'all on the next episode on Your Favorite Director podcast. See y'all next time.
Peace.